Hi, I'm Helen and welcome to my channel. Welcome to day 4 of my 10 by 10 by 10 yoga challenge. 10 classes in 10 days are just 10 minutes long. Today's class is class number 4, which is Blissful hips. So we'll start in a simple cross-legged position. Manually rotate your thighs outwards. Sit tall on the sit bones with the spine straight. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, tip forward from the waist and maybe bring the hands down. So we're keeping the spine straight, leaning forward out of the pelvis, just getting into a little bit of the outer hips here. So you may be able to bring your palms flat to the floor. If you're very limber, you may bring the elbows down or even the forehead. So whatever feels good for you. A couple of breaths here. Noticing the sensations in the body. Breathing deeply. Then inhale, come up, and whatever leg is in front, turn to face the opposite knee, and we'll come over this side. So this just gets a little bit more into this outer hip here. Using the breath. Then inhale, come back up. Come to center and change the cross of the legs. So you may realize now that you favor one side over the other. Inhale, again lengthen out of the waist, and exhale, come forward. So come forward however many degrees is comfortable for you, keeping the spine straight and moving from the pelvis. Deep breaths. Observing how you feel in the body and in the mind. Then inhale, come up. Rotate to face the opposite knee and then come forward again. Nice long breaths, not forcing the body, being kind to yourself. Come back up. We'll come over the knees and come into tabletop. So hands are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are under the hips. I'm going to take this right foot and place it on the outside of the mat. So you're externally rotating this hip. Come up onto the tiptoes, tuck the left toes under, and then maybe sit back towards the left heel. So you can tent these fingertips, keep the spine long, and breathe here. Then inhale, we'll come back up, bring the knee down, plant the hands shoulder width apart, tuck the toes. We'll come into downward facing dog briefly. So lengthening the spine with the sit bones to the sky. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot steps up between the hands. Bring this back knee down, and we're going to shuffle this right foot across and come into pigeon pose. So depending on how open your hips are will depend on the angle of this shin. Mine is quite close to my groin. Tuck the left toes under and walk them back. You want both hips facing forward. If this cheek is quite elevated, you can always put a block or a cushion underneath it to give it some support. Lengthen out of the waist and then exhale, descend down. So you can release the back foot, keep it straight, don't let it sickle. Equal weight in both hips. And breathe here. This is a great stretch to get into the outer hip, into the glute, into the piriformis. Deep breaths. We spend so many years tightening our hips, sitting around all day, driving cars, doing sports like running or cycling. So they take quite a while to unlock. Whatever depth you're in of the pose, when it comes to hip openers and in general any yoga pose, just be kind to yourself and show patience. And then come back up onto the hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then using the core, bring this other leg up, and we'll come back to downward facing dog. Bring the knees down. We'll do that on the other side. So first of all, this left leg, the toes come outside the left side of the mat. You're externally rotating this hip. Tuck the right toes and then sit back towards the heel. Keep the spine long with the fingers tented. And feel it all in the left outer hip. Then inhale, come back up. Back to downward facing dog. We'll lift the left leg to the sky. And then left leg steps up. Bring this back knee down and then we'll shuffle this foot across. We'll come into pigeon on this side. So tuck these back toes under. Walk back, give yourself some space around the pelvis. Pelvis is facing forward. You can release these back toes, trying to keep that foot straight. Lift out of the waist and then come forward into whatever position is good for you. Using the breath, surrendering down, releasing. And then inhale, come back up. Right knee lifts, tuck the toes, use the strength of the core and come back to downward facing dog. From here we'll step forward and come over onto the back. And come into reclined Gomukhasana. So bring the knees into the chest, separate the knees and then cross the right leg over the left like you're sitting in a chair. Reach up and grab the outer feet. If you can't reach the feet, you can always grab the shins and pull them towards the floor. Try and keep the entire length of the spine on the floor. And breathe here. And then release and we'll go the other way. So left leg on top of right, reach up and grab. So this way is a lot more awkward for me. Center in on the breath. Notice where there's tightness. Send the breath there to help release that area. Mind to body connection. And then release, give yourself a little squeeze and then bring both feet to the floor and allow the knees to flop open for reclined butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Just allow all the muscles of the pelvis to surrender and relax. Turn the palms to face the sky. Breathe here. 5 deep breaths. Then place the hands outside the thighs, push them together. Bring the knees into the chest and rock and roll back up to seated. Return to cross-legged like at the start of the class, and you might find a little bit more openness in the hips. That was a very quick hip opening class. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 5, which will be a twisting class. Have a good day, take care.